Hey everyone, Scott here with Adventure Further, and we are here at the Motobilt factory, and today is a Jeep JT cage. As you can see in the background, this Jeep is already getting torn apart. We're actually getting ready to put the cage in, which basically that means we're taking the stock factory cage out of this thing. We're pulling all the cage out, the windshield brackets, the whole entire works is coming out, and we're getting ready for a brand new cage. The interior had to get fully pulled out and get the saws out, and that's going to be the next step to this project. The dismantling part is the easy part. That was about an hour and a half. Now it comes out the grinders and the sawzalls, and it's going to be a wild project here, but gonna love it and when it's finished, so can't wait. As you guys can see, Bender did all the hard work here as I stood back and watched and videoed.
You're pretty.
Yeah, okay, all right. But, so I'm gonna have Bender kind of give you a run through on like what the next step is in the next process, because obviously you can see we cut this thing apart. I don't even know where brackets are going. That's why I'm waiting to kind of see what I can help with and stay out of his way. Where are we starting after this? Like,
so
what's next?
we got the main portion of the cage cut out. What we have to do now is we'll trim the brackets down, get them flush cut where we need to, like in the front, we'll pull the edge of the dash back, get these cut down, get everything sanded down. Our next step, while I do this, doesn't take very long.
Okay.
Then we start adding our brackets. So we'll have a whole bracket kit that's laser cut. It'll tie into the body mounts in the back. You'll see it. They're huge for the crossbar. So we'll get those in. We'll get the floor plates in. And we'll get the A-pillar plates in. Hopefully, if we can get those welded in today, we're golden.
We're ahead of schedule? Is that really a thing?
Well, yeah,
Do we want to say that?
I didn't know. You don't ever say that.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but on the schedule today was to take the interior apart and get the cage cut out.
In day one, and we're doing pretty good on time.
We're doing pretty good on time. Now we're not done, so
all right.
we're gonna move on to Tuesdays.
Okay.
We're gonna clean up the brackets.
All right.
And we're gonna try to get those drilled and welded into place. That'll give us a place for the cage to land.
So obviously we can show people once we get closer, but just a better description on the brackets here. Do they generally, you cut them off flush here and then you're welding a plate on the top?
Onto the plate. This is the strongest part of the Jeep,
Gotcha.
arguably.
Okay.
All the dash, everything ties into here.
Okay.
So we have a big plate, like on SCCA rules and stuff, you have to have 12 square inches of weld, blah, 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 these plates. This is the biggest one. It handles all 3 different planes, and then this tube will come in with a capture plate that goes like this, so the cage is still removable. This one, you'll see here pretty soon. We'll movie magic.
You guys will see it as he's doing it, but I just figured while you guys are watching this video to give you some brief background on what he's doing and why and how strong it is. So. Day here too at Motobilt on our Jeep Gladiator build. We're doing the cage. Yesterday was a very productive day ahead of schedule, and we got all the stock factory cage out and then actually started putting the brackets in, which we didn't think we were gonna get that far. So we got the rear brackets already welded in, the rear crossbars welded in. You can see over here that we actually have this mocked up. This is all kind of here. We're gonna start getting the placement of the cage. He welded in this front plate for the front A-pillar. I should say he's got the A-pillar mount already welded in. And actually he's laying out the cage over here. We're getting this wiped out as we speak. So this is kind of what it's gonna look like on the ground, having all the components here. And this, we have to wipe everything down, get all the oil residue off, the new metal. and from there clean up some of the edges, and then we can start tacking this into place. Little by little, all of this is going to wind up to be a solid cage for our JT build. So stay tuned as we are going to show you little by little where all the components go and what it's going to end up looking like.
This A-pillar is the other one too. When you're in this, the A-pillar plate, mark it with, you put the cap plate on it once it's all clean. Like you said, 1/2 inch inside and outside, clean this really, really well. There'll be some black goop here too where they put the little rubber seal on. That seal will go back on. And then you just do the tack, tack, tack. If you zoom in, it's not too bad. This is just a 030 wire and a MIG, and it's tack, 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 all the way along. But just weld as much of the surface as possible. Again, there's like 4 layers here. This is the strongest part of the whole Jeep. But this thing will not go anywhere. Here's our little cage plate. So once we have the foot on, this will weld in. Once we get all the tubes in, we get everything true and square, then our clamps will go on. And this is what will actually hold the cage in. And then you pull the bolts on this thing, the whole cage will slide forward 1/2 inch. You remove them, and then you can powder coat it.
Perfect. Well, you ready to get at it, Bender?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Tacking it, make sure there's really good tacks. Even if the tack is heavy, you can go back in with a little cutoff wheel, and you can take the tacks down as you're burning along, get the tack out of there and clean it up, bevel it again really nice. But you want your tacks to hold, because when you take this thing out, if you break a tack and one of these tubes goes poing, you got to start all over. Put it all the way back in the rig, bolt everything back down again, make sure it's all square. So make sure you put some big, fat, juicy tacks on this thing before you pull it out, because you can always clean those tacks up.
So he's got her all welded, or not, I shouldn't say welded.
Tacked.
Bender's got it all tacked into place, and now all the supports are in, and we're gonna pull it off so it's out of the vehicle to get it fully welded. Get it on the ground, but looks pretty awesome, that's for sure. Here at the Motodome to give you guys the big reveal of the new Jeep Gladiator cage. And here it is. We have all completed, installed with the help of our good friend Bender here. He has been hard at work at it for a few days.
Yeah, as you can tell, we're wide open all the time. We got one speed and it is wide open. Prototype, we're pretty busy here. We're trying to come up with all this new stuff, but it's really cool to see this thing come together. You guys have been an awesome customer for a few years. You've got fenders and bumpers and a bob bed and all that stuff, so it's only fitting that you got the first run prototype Gladiator cage.
Absolutely, and we use it for sure. So it was about time for us to do something of a cage stature. So we're happy to be part of that process.
I've seen you
with
wheel,
you guys.
brother. You're not shy about it. So
Either
it's
is
definitely
she.
the upgrade that you need.
I was gonna say, either is Ashley behind the wheel on Pritchett Canyon. Holy cow! So
That'd be nice to her.
Absolutely. So you know, to give you guys an overview of this thing, you know, this is all 2-inch dome. Steel with 120 wall. Bender can kind of go into some of the other specific details, but I mean, this cage is rigid, and I mean very rigid. So
we tie it with chromoly clamps, double-wristed clamps in the front, so it's completely removable. Ties in, and there's doublers to the bottom of the thing. Really good. If you did want to tie it in the frame, don't recommend it because the Gladiator has a big rubber body mount, so there's a lot of movement there. And then it ties into the seat with the same wristed chromoly clamps. Again, 2-inch 120 wall DOM, and then some of the inner structure, your cross bracing and such, is 1 3/4 120 wall DOM. Comes with all the things. With the Motobilt kit, you get all the bracing. That's all included. It's not an upcharge. That's just part of the kit. So all the bracketry, your RF, your radio, your satellite, dome light, all this stuff comes with the kit. There's no add-ons. You'll catch that one out there. There's some
for sure.
Some guys will, I've got a kit
Upsells.
for upsell. So with that $3,000 kit costs $5,000 by the time it hits the door. But it fits really good. It fits as tight as you could possibly get it with the Gladiator. As you know, the Gladiator's really small in the back seat. I'm 6'2", but we've bent the bars and we've done a lot of work to try to get this thing to be just as comfortable as you can. Again, it's a tight in the back of a Gladiator, but this is as safe as you can get it. As you can see, as for our build process, as you guys see in the video, the OEM cage, it's not a cage, it's just some tin there.
I would say we'll throw a little clip of what that looks like in comparison right here. But you know, as you see in here, we don't even have, you know, people might comment, we don't have rear seat belts and stuff in here. For us, after this project, we're going to be doing some PRP seats in the rear. So that's a project that we're doing. So we're going to match our Pro Comp Elite seats in the very front with rears for our two girls, so to sit in the back, so everybody's going to be safe in this thing. That's the whole reason for doing it in the first place. So you know, they have the seatbelt tabs. If you're going to keep all of your stock seats, everything goes in the same spot, right?
There's provisions for all the OEM seat belts, even for the C, the passengers, the B, all that stuff, all the bolt-in for your hard top and all that stuff. And it's actually pretty easy. We did it from what we got 3 days into from when we drove it in to now.
And we're on day 4, and overall, I mean, coming from the guy that built it, it's obviously a faster process than if you guys are doing it at home in your garage or you're hiring a shop out to do it. Ours may change vary on, you know, experience in doing cages. So
now it's going to take a little longer, but this is 67 pages. This is the instructions to go along to building this thing, and it is very detailed. Every single step of the way is pictures and how to and measurements and where to go. And if there's any questions at all, Bobby Cox, I think you guys introduced him earlier in the video.
So we showed you guys Bobby in the video. He is great knowledge when it comes to this stuff. He is actually working here next to Bender, has a desk here in the actual R&D department, so he is the closest person to Bender to answer those questions. So feel free to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. Night or day. In fact, if you're going to call Bobby anytime after 2 a.m., usually 2 to 4 a.m. in the morning, that's the best time to call.
That's the best. He likes those phone calls. But, you know, as far as that goes, you guys can call, ask questions, and they're going to answer it. You know, feel free to reach out. But, you know, from the build process, from where we started a few days ago to where we are today, holy mackerel. I mean, talk about getting it done in a timely manner and being part of that process. We really appreciate it working with you guys, and look forward to more builds coming up here. We're ordering some more parts. So you guys are going to have to stay tuned. There's going to be more builds with our Gladiator here, this isn't done. This is just the one step of the process, and we're going to be doing much more with them. So stay tuned for that. If you guys want to see more of that content, you know, look out for Motobilt on Instagram and YouTube. You guys have YouTube, I think even on Facebook. And then obviously look at for our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. You guys will see that as well. So thanks, Bender, for all the hard work and all the sweat you put into it. So down here in Alabama,
Yeah,
it's not cool.
it's not cool. Love Alabama, but it is definitely a little humid.
As I say, but it's a warm welcome down here, so we appreciate it.
No,
so.
you guys have been amazing. It's awesome to have a partnership with you guys. It's you guys really do use your equipment and use it hard. Give these guys a follow because you're gonna like it.
Thank you. Yeah, we absolutely do. So, and we're very passionate about what we do, and we love it. So, yeah, stay tuned for the next one.